everyone, this is Kavita. Today we are going to learn an interesting lesson, A Letter to God from 10th grade First Flight book. The story, A Letter to God by G.L. Fuentes, revolves around the idea of having unquestionable belief in something. So without wasting time, let's start. First let's see before you read. There is one saying in Hindi, अगर विश्वास हो तो चट्टानें भी हिला सकते हैं. So that is what which is given here in before you read. They say faith can move mountains, but what should we put our faith in? This is the question this story delicately poses. Lencho is a farmer who writes a letter to God when his crops are ruined, asking for 100 pesos. Does Lencho's letter reach God? Does God send him the money? Think what your answer to these questions would be and guess how the story continues before you begin to read it. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. Crest means top of a hill. Means there was a lonely house on the crest, on the top of a hill. And from this height, one could see the river and the field of ripe corns dotted with the flowers and always promised a good harvest. Dotted means you can say full with flowers. Means there were fields of ripe corns which were completely covered with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour or at least a shower. Downpour means rain. The only thing the earth needed was a rain or at least a shower. Otherwise, everything was going on very in a wonderful way. The flowers of the cornfields were promising that definitely they will give good harvesting. And throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, means Lencho is a farmer who lives at the top of a hill here, you can guess, and intimately means closely, he knew his fields very closely, that exactly what is the situation of the fields and how he's going to get out of his hard work in his field, and there is exactly what is the need. And so there was the need of water, a downpour or at least a shower, and had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. As we have seen, he was looking at the northeast sky, and as he saw, he said to his woman, means to his wife, now we are really going to get some water, we are really going to get rain. The woman who was preparing supper, means who was preparing meal, replied happily, yes, God willing. God willing means what she want to say? She want to say it will happen exactly as we hope or as we wish it, God wishes it. The older boys were working in the field while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, come for dinner. When Lencho was speaking with his wife was making supper, a meal, and as she has completed that work, she has called her boys, those who were working in the field and those who were playing nearby the house. It was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted, he had just imagined or wished, the big drops of rain began to fall. As he wished, the rain downpour has started. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. Could be seen approaching means he has seen that rain is going to be about to reach. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, "These aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones are fives." As he has seen the raindrops has started to fall down, he went out to enjoy the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body, and he exclaimed, he cried out suddenly in surprise, in his strong emotion, as he was eagerly waiting for a rain. He said, "These aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins." Can you guess why did he say like this, that these aren't the raindrops falling from the sky? They are new coins, because as we have seen in the first paragraph, that his cornfield was flowery, but they were just waiting for the rain. And as rain started to come, this farmer Lencho was too happy, because definitely out of this rain, his cornfield was going to give him a big profit later on after the harvesting. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers draped in a curtain of rain. Means what he has expressed, or what he has considered, regarded means considered, that his whole field of ripe corn is draped, is covered in a curtain of rain, and it looks very wonderful. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. These hailstones which started to fall, it was exactly resembling, looking like silver coins. The boys exposing means they started to went out in the rain to enjoy the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. Frozen pearls means here you can say hailstones. "It's really getting bad now," exclaimed the man who was exclaiming first in a happiness, now he exclaimed in the sorrow, I hope it passes quickly, because there started hailstones falling. It did not pass quickly. For an hour the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white as if covered with salt. As you can see in the picture, the whole field, whole area was covered with the hailstones. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. Means where the person, Lencho farmer, was exclaiming in happiness that he has got rain as he was expecting, but it has happened completely different. Again, he has exclaimed in sorrow because the whole area was covered with the hailstones completely. It was looking as everywhere there is the salt spreaded over in the surrounding. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with the sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his son, a plague of locust. A plague of locust means, you can say, these are the locusts are the insects which fly in big groups and destroy crops, would have left more than this. And what he said to his sons, that the plague of locusts would have left more than this. These hailstones, this rain has destroyed everything. Nothing was remain over there in the field. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There is no one who can help us. We will all go hungry this year. And the Lencho, the farmer who was expecting for the rain, who was having only the hope, the God, now he is in too sorrow, he is in too pain, and then he said, we all will go hungry this year. Now next see, but in the hearts of all who live in that solitary means lonely house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God. And even though the Lencho was going through sorrow, so much pain, there was one single hope somewhere there in his heart, and that was only the God. Don't be so upset. Even though this seems like a total loss, remember, no one dies of hunger. On this earth, no one dies of hunger. This was the Lencho's thinking. Even though he was going through so much bad situation, he was too positive to face the situation. That's what they say. He said, that's what there is one saying, no one dies of hunger. यहाँ पे अगर बच्चों आप देख सकते हो एक saying है हिंदी में, अगर गॉड हमें दाद देता है तो खाने के लिए कुछ चारा जो होता है उसका इंतजाम भी उसने किया हुआ होता है. So let's see next paragraph. All through the night, Lencho thought only of his one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Conscience means an inner sense of right and wrong, means exactly in this bad situation, what is the right and what is the wrong. This was the time Lencho wanted to think about that, who was an ox of a man. An ox of a man means who was a very hardworking person. He was working a lot in his field to get profit out of his hard working, and everything was destroyed just because of the hailstones which was falling in big quantity in his area. He was working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday at daybreak means the time in the morning when daylight first appears, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God, means as he was instructed by the God out of this bad situation, exactly what he wanted to do, and by his conscience and by his inner sense, he decided to write a letter to God, and finally he has written a letter to God, and he himself carry it to town and place in the mail. Now see the faith, belief in God in the bad situation, and what will be the result of this. Let's see in the next paragraph. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. And what he has written in that letter mailed to God, let's see, read it. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again. Pesos means, you can say, the basic monetary unit of Mexico, like currency. How in our India there is rupees. Likewise, he needed 100 pesos as he's one Mexican farmer. in order to sow, in order to get the same crop, or again he wanted to sow the seeds in his field and to leave until the crop comes, because the help storm means dot dot is given, means he wanted to tell the situation which had happened with him. He wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled went to town, means even though he has written a letter to God, somewhere there is a trouble in his heart. What will happen out of this? God will help him or not? At the post office he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox, means he has put that letter into the mailbox. Let's see. One of the employees, means one of the worker who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Now exactly what happened here, see why this employee is laughing heartily, because it is unbelievable that someone is writing a letter to God. Just let me know from you kids, have you ever heard that someone has written a letter to God, or did you get any letter from God? Never in his career, or we also. Okay, now this is the thing about a postman. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address of the God where it should be sent. The postmaster, a fat, amiable means you can say friendly and a pleasant kind of person, fellow person, also broke out laughing, and postmaster also broke out in laugh, but almost immediately he turned serious, and tapping the letter on his desk, he has kept the letter on his desk and commented, what faith, what a faith in God. He wanted to say that someone has directly write a letter to God in wish or in conscience that he will get some answer in return. I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter. Starting of a correspondence with God. Correspondence means communication by exchanging letters with someone, and this person, postmaster, is thinking how he has started communication, corresponds with God. Now see. So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, not to disturb writers, means farmers' belief in the God, the postmaster came up with an idea, and he decided to answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident, there was one proof that the answer which farmer needed, which will be something more than goodwill, which will be something more than friendly help or cooperation or ink and paper. And what was that? That was 100 pesos. We knew it very well. But he stuck to his resolution. He means who? The postmaster stuck to his resolution, means his decision was firm to give answer to the letter. But what to do, what not to do, how he will collect 100 pesos. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged, means they were very grateful that they are contributing like this and helping someone else. And they too give something for an act of charity, act of donation, and they all were very happy that they were answering the letter and helping this lencho. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. Postmaster, despite his so much hard work, he was just able to collect a little more than half. Then also he put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho, and with it a letter containing only a single word as a God's sign he has sent to the Lencho. The following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. The next Sunday, Lencho came to a post office to ask if there was a letter for him from God. As a reply, it was the postman himself who handed the letter to him. While the postmaster, experiencing the contentment, the satisfaction of a man who has performed a good deed, look on from his office, and postmaster, who was just experiencing the contentment, the happiness of a man of his office who has did a good job. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence. But contrary, what had happened there, see, Lencho showed not the slightest surprise, no any happiness, enjoyment on seeing the money. Contrary, he was angry, he was disheartened as he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, he said, nor could he have denied the Lencho what he had requested. Immediately, Lencho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. On being disappointed, he started looking for ink and paper to write to God again. While writing, his eyebrows got curled out of the concentration with which he was drafting a new request. So there is a description with much wrinkling of his eyebrows. When he finished writing, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed to the envelope with a blow of his fist. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. As postmaster has seen that he has written a letter again to God, the postmaster was very eager that exactly what he has written. So let's see exactly what was there. It said, God of the money that I asked for only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest since I need it very much, but don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks, Lencho. In that letter, exactly what had happened, see, Lencho complained that he had only received 70 pesos or nearby that, and he is really in need of the remaining amount. He doubted the integrity and honesty of the post office employees who had exactly helped him as humanity and suggested that the money should not be sent via post because Lencho doubted that the staff at the post office must have stolen the missing amount. Means still he is having faith in God that God has sent him 100 pesos, but 30 pesos or something nearby amount these post office employees has stolen because they are a bunch of crooks. And finally, he has written Lencho means see the faith of Lenchu in God, his belief that God can't make mistake, and the employees who has actually helped him, they are a bunch of crooks. It is irony.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel.